Hi, I'm Kathy with Wellness Coach Connection, and my husband and I are wanting some homemade wheat bread. So before I made that, I thought I would just share this with you and share how easy it is to make it from scratch. In fact, we're even going to make the wheat flour from scratch. Sure, you can go and buy the wheat at the store, but if you have a Vitamix, you can make your own wheat flour. Let me show you how easy it is. So this is a half-cup container, and the recipe calls for 3 cups. One cup. There's 2. Okay, and as you can see, this is the berries, the wheat berries. 3 cups. So let me snap on the lid, put this on the base, and then we'll process this for about 1.5 minutes. Okay, done. It's even a little bit warm. I'm going to pour it into this bowl to make measuring a little bit easier. But as you see, it's coming out flour. I'll tell you what, it doesn't get any fresher than this. Okay. Now I'm going to measure it into, we're just going to use a bread baker. It's a whole lot easier. Now I used to do this from, make a big batch. I'd make about, 6 loaves. But that was when the kids were still home. Since they're no longer living at home and it's just my husband and I just use my bread baker. I love it. Okay, I hope you noticed I sprayed the inside just a little bit with some oil. And this recipe calls for 3 cups of flour. Yeah. Just checking the blade at the bottom, making sure it's going to rotate. That's 1. This is a half-cup measure. 1.5. 2. 2.5, and 3, and it blended up even more than I need. Okay, it also calls for a package of yeast, and can you tell how much it has risen? What I did is I added the yeast to the water that the recipe calls for, which is 3/4 of a cup, and it also calls for 4 tablespoons of a sweetener, so I add 4 tablespoons of sugar. So I did this, about 10 minutes ago, and you can see it's already proofed is what it's called. That way you know that the yeast is good. So let's stir that down and add it all in. So that's my liquid and 1 of my 4 tablespoons of honey. Or the sugar if you use sugar, but I prefer honey. Let's add the other 3. That's 2. 3, 4. And this is a yummy local honey. Recipe also calls for 2 eggs and 6 tablespoons of an oil. You can use an olive oil. I personally like the taste of butter, not margarine, butter. Now, granted, you wouldn't want to eat the whole loaf. Well, you may want to, but you don't want to get all that oil. But the amount of butter you're going to get in a slice will be very little, and it really adds to the flavor. The recipe calls for a teaspoon of salt. Actually, it calls for a teaspoon and a half. I always add less, so I'll go ahead and add a teaspoon in there. And this is the large crystal, the granular kosher salt. So there you have it. All I'm going to have to do is put that in my bread baker, and in 4 hours we're going to have some yummy bread. Thank you.